The Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. With your hosts, Joe Bond.
You're awful.
And AJ Applegarth.
It's Sin Shu Chu. It's a mouthful.
Right. Welcome to the Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me, as usual, Mr. AJ Applegarth, celebrating the Eagles. Getting into those playoffs.
7 seed.
Enjoy while it lasts. But we'll say, hey, man, crazier things have happened. Nobody thought they were going to make it as far as they did when they won the Super Bowl. Especially because once, got hurt. So, hey, crazier things have happened. Anyway, man. No, it's all good, man. So tonight we're gonna be we're gonna be looking into some early top 12 rankings on each position for the 2022 fantasy football season. We'll look into some NFL playoff fantasy strategies and things like that you guys should be doing. There's another couple days for all that noise to happen, and then we got some other fun to go on. I'm sure a bunch of people chiming in to wait for that. But in the meantime, I want to remind everybody, ask everybody, politely, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, follow button, whatever you got on your wherever you listen and watch us, and leave those reviews as well. We appreciate it, and go ahead and please do that. In the meantime, let's do beer of the week.
Beer.
All right, what you got?
Well, per usual, drinking an IPA. This one is a new one. I know. I do have a non-IPA that I will be drinking next, though. I already had one tonight, and it was quite delicious. This one is the Sierra Nevada Atomic Torpedo Juicy West Coast DIPA, 8.2%er. It's pretty good. I like the Torpedo regular version, and I saw this. I got this in a like a bonus pack or whatever of random Sierra Nevada stuff. So it's like exclusive. So I had to buy it, but it's good.
All right, good stuff, man. So I am drinking a beer from Saga Brewing Company. I learned when I bought this beer that it is actually a brewer who used to work for Black Flag Brewing in Columbia, Maryland, that we are all familiar with. Mm-hmm. If you've watched the show, at least you and me are. He broke off and did his own thing and started his own brewery, and this is the first IPA he's made. It's a hazy, 7.2%. I don't know what hops it has in it. It's not on the can here, so either way, I've had a couple of these already, and they are very tasty. I gave them a 4 1/4 on Untappd, so cheers,
nice. Man. All right.
Yeah, they are very, very good.
I will have to.
All right,
check that out.
Yeah, they're good, man. You got to find them. So, all right. So we are, gonna get you guys ready for what we mentioned. But before we do that, we have a giveaway to announce the winners from, and we paired up with RT Sports to give away 13 entries into their postseason shootout. It's a $125 value, and the grand prize is $50,000. Thank you very much.
All
I
right.
will.
Yes.
I would take that. If I could freebie 50,000. There's other prizes as well, but that's what the grand prize is. So we wanted to make sure that we announced the winners on this show And I'm going to start here and announce the very first one. And we're just going to announce the Twitter names because it's all we got most of the time. So the contest, or not, it wasn't really a contest. It was what you had to do to enter was, follow us, follow them, and then, give your Super Bowl winner, right? And at Fantasy Sports Guru, it's spelled a little funny, missing vowels and stuff, whatever. Buffalo Bills will beat the Green Bay Packers 31-27. So congrats, Fantasy Sports Guru. You get the very first one. Buffalo Bills, that's not going to be a popular one anymore. I guarantee you that. So kudos.
Yeah, we'll see.
They're a good team, but man, they were circling down the stretch. So
all right, next up we got Butters 468. Congratulations on your pick here with the Kansas City Chiefs. I like it a lot.
Kansas City Chiefs. They probably will be one of the second popular picks out there for sure. So don't be surprised if you see a ton of them. The next up here, and sorry, I'm trying to do one other thing before I announce this. There we go. Is at DoMore_right picking the Packers again. Another very popular pick coming out of the NFC, and one of my favorites as well. So, yeah, congratulations, man.
All right. Next up, we've got Fantasy Assassin. Basically, 2 asses and an N. I love it. This is good. I like your pick, man. I like the bold strategy here. We'll see if it pays off. He's got bold
strategy, Cotton. See if it pays off.
San Fran 49ers to win the Super Bowl in Jimmy's last stand.
Absolutely. And here's another one who I've recognized this name. I feel like he's entered a few of our contests. At 12 Pack Abs. I don't know if that's a troll job on our site, but if it isn't, that's just fantastic in general.
If it is, thank you for coming to our site. We appreciate it.
Regardless, it's awesome. Thank you for following. He is picking the Buffalo Bills. So that's 2 for Buffalo already pretty early on. So
yeah, you were
good for them.
All right. Next up, we've got at Fantasy Ladder, LADDER. Possibly a firefighter friend of ours.
Maybe.
I'm picking the Packers. Simple as that. That's what it says. I like it.
All right. Next up here is Salty Peppers FFL. The Packers will win it. So Packers take the lead 3.
Okay. All right. Next we've got at STL_ all uppercase Tiger. Tampa Bay is my guess. Fair enough. I would maybe disagree right now.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll talk later about this.
Doubtful.
The next one here is at 12_Brown. Tampa Bay again. So hey, Tampa Bay is tied for second behind the Packers, tied with Buffalo.
All right. Got at FF_Wheeler. Titans.
All right. Then at Atomic Chaos 72, Titans with an exclamation point. Titans!
Yeah.
Got you beat. Or at least Atomic got you beat.
Does. All right. Next one here, we've got at Mr. Ich.
I think it's...
Or M. Rich.
M. Rich. Yeah.
I'm Rich Itch. That's what it is. I'm Rich Itch.
Yeah, that probably is. That's pretty funny. If that's what it is. Winner.
That's what it is. Chiefs.
Yeah, all right. And then the last one here is actually a fantasy 6-pack person here. It's Ike 2121. Yeah, we opened it up to everybody. Not a lot of F6P1, there we go. We finally got one in the gates here. So congrats to all the winners. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna send your all Twitter names to my contact in RT. What? Oh, Bengals. Yeah. So not a popular pick. Again, the pick didn't matter. It was just for fun. But Anyway, so what we're going to do, everybody who won, congrats again. We will send your Twitter handle to our contact at RT Sports. They will get in touch with you as soon as possible. And then they will require your email address or for you to create an account on their site if you do not have one already. And then, wow, my whole thing just reset. What the hell is that? And then what you go in to draft your team for the weekend, and it's got to be a little bit of a quick turnaround because the game starts Saturday afternoon. So yeah, but good luck to everybody. Big grand prize there, and congrats to all the winners. Okay, man.
Let's do this.
Business aside, let's get to some fun here, and you guys can. No, I'm
ready
not.
To feel the heat.
No, I'm not. But let's get to
Probably
it, man.
not.
The early.
Truth.
Not this year. I was just outside. I was top 25. Does that matter? Top 25 out of almost 200 people. I'll take it. Still, it's not horrible.
That's
I had a
pretty solid.
pretty iffy year, but anyway, early look at my top 12 rankings per position. We're just sticking to the offensive positions. I'm not doing defense.
IDP.
No.
IDP.
So let's start with the quarterbacks. Do you want to rip through these, or do you want me to announce them and then you?
Well, you can announce your picks, and then I will destroy them. I mean, ask you questions about why.
How about you enter the ECR and see how you do against me
Sure.
before you rip me? No, just kidding. All right, should I go 12 to 1 or 1 to 12? What do you think?
Go 12 to 1.
Like drum roll style? All right, I like that. So number 12, we're doing Matthew Stafford. Dak Prescott, we're doing number 11.
Okay.
Number 10, Deshaun Watson. Number 9 is Aaron Rodgers. 8 is Tom Brady. 7, Jalen Hurts. Joe Burrow is going to be number 6. Number 5, Lamar Jackson. Justin Herbert, number 4. And my top 3, Kyler Murray. Number 2, who's it going to be? Patrick Mahomes, number 2. And then Josh Allen, number 1. All right, let me have it.
Oh man. Where to start with that? Oof. Okay. Let's just go ahead and stick with the backside here. And you got Dak at 11. Explain yourself.
Explain yourself. I like it. All right. So my thing with Dak is look, I like Dak as a quarterback. I get he's like QB 8 right now or something like that at the season. My problem with him, right, is the whole team is getting older. I think we definitely don't know what Gallup's deal is going to be next year. With obviously the ACL injury, and then Cooper has been just abysmal this year, especially down the stretch. Even Lamb, to some degree, has been sort of disappointing, but has been good enough. Like, Lamb's the one guy who I really still like in that offense. Schultz, he's been just a touchdown hungry, son of a, you can whatever you want to call it. Like, it's just been crazy what's been going on with him. Like, Zeke's gonna lose another step in the offseason. Like, I think this offense takes a little bit of a step backwards, and we saw it at times this year already, right? Where this offense struggled. He had these amazing games where that propelled him up, right? QB7, QB3, QB9, 2, 3, 2, and then down the stretch 2, 5, 1. In between those, right? QB29, QB14, QB28, QB21, QB30, 23, 23. I think we're gonna see more of the QB14s and 11s than we're gonna see the QB3s and 2s next season. Unfortunately, that's just my gut feeling. Look, a lot's going to change, and this is going to be a theme of these rankings, so I won't repeat it. But just the theme of these rankings is a lot will change. Free agency happens, trades will happen, injuries will happen, right? These are super early, but this is just my gut going in the next year right now. So I like Dak as a player. I just think this team is going a little bit backwards offensively with some of their age outside of CeeDee Lamb, honestly.
Yeah, I can get on board with that a little bit. I mean, just looking at some of his games, like you mentioned, you look at the teams that he did really bad against, and it was week 2, on the road at the Chargers. Week 11 on the road
defensively
at Kansas City.
Basically, you had to get him at home.
Yeah, I mean,
to use him, it was so bad.
All road games.
Because even this is like week 14 against Washington, right?
And
Washington was terrible defensively this year.
Not
23rd ranked QB that week.
And
that was a bye week. So like that was probably QB 23 out of QB 27.
Yeah. I mean,
not good, guys.
Yet again, we're seeing the trend continue in the NFC least, where a new team wins the division every year between Dallas, the Eagles, and Washington.
It's more so just because every other team is so bad.
So,
although I will admit, at least this was the first year that like one of the teams was actually really good.
Yeah.
I will admit, Dallas improved tremendously.
So I heard this on, and granted, it was a Philly sports talk radio station. So take it for what it's worth with that, because we hate Dallas. But the guy had, they were talking about, they won 12 games, and the other guy chimed in and said, "Oh, well, it was a 17-game season." Okay. So what? That's one more game than last year. So then they would have been an 11-win team if they would have, if you take that win away from them.
Yeah, still better. I mean,
give me a break. That kind of annoyed me.
I could easily reevaluate things, and if Gallup is healthy and I don't know, things in the preseason start looking right, or they go get a better receiver to maybe replace Cooper. Like, I could easily put Dak up, and like, look, I'm sure your second question here is gonna be about Watson, so I'm just gonna get right to it here. Watson is the total wild card here. Watson is if he actually plays and goes to a team who's worth a damn, Watson could either jump into the top 5, in my opinion, or completely plummet out if he doesn't play at all. So like he'll obviously jump him, and so there's a couple guys like it was a tough Hurts, Brady, Rodgers, Watson, Prescott. That was they were all like, I don't know, I'm gonna throw it to me and see which one lands. Like they were all that close, but the quarterbacks have been that close all year long. That's the thing.
They have. And the one thing we kind of touched on with the award show was the quarterbacks pretty much all stayed healthy this year. So it was hard to gauge
exactly
who's going to fall where. I mean, Brady, obviously another year older, but freaking Tom Brady.
It's so good.
As much as it Jalen hurts me to say it.
I've got comments about him if you want me to ask. If you want to, because to put him at, what did I put him at 8? 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. I put him at 8?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, to put him at 8 after he's finishing QB 3 or whatever it is this year seems really low, but there are reasons for that. And it is, Godwin might not be there. We know AB's not going to be there at this point. Gronk, who knows what's going to happen with him? He's going to lose his receivers. And Brady's had a couple good weeks without those guys, but he's had a couple good bad weeks without those guys too. So that's why I downgraded Brady a little bit. And look, eventually the floor is going to fall out with Brady. It is going to happen. It happens with everybody. So, yeah, I'm still gonna buy in on Brady because Tom Brady seems to be the android of the robot,
NFL,
the robot of the NFL. But it's eventually it's gonna happen. And we just have to see what kind of moves they're going to make. There's going to be receivers that will want to go to Tampa Bay for a, reduced salary because Brady is there and they will possibly win a championship.
I think that depends on what they do in the playoffs this year, which most people expect them to beat the Eagles, move on, possibly to the Super Bowl and or win, or at a minimum, I feel like it's NFC Championship or bust. You mentioned Chris Godwin. So what happens if Jimmy pockets full of cash, Jones goes out and somehow lures a Chris Godwin to Dallas?
I mean, so again, that would all change
how much
things.
Farther up the rankings? Just on the spot right now, in a vacuum. We'll go with the Dyson because they're better than Sharks.
So we have a comment to get to, but I will answer your question first. Sorry, Dave, I didn't see them. All right, so
beer one's down.
So okay, repeat your question real quick. So we know what we're saying.
If Chris Godwin decides to take the money and go to Dallas, whether they keep Cooper or not, I don't know what his contract status is. Frankly, I don't care because he sucks. But if he's still there and Godwin is now your Gallup fill-in, that's an upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably put Dak in the top 5. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think that's where you would have to be. So go ahead and get to Dave.
Dave, I bet if Dak was on the Washington Admirals or whatever the hell they're going to be, Joe would have them in the top 5. No. Do you not realize I don't root for the Washington assholes anymore or the Washington Snyders anymore because that's what they are, the Washington rapists because of Snyder. Sorry to say that.
We're talking about Washington.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I don't root for them anymore, man. And then he said, Deshaun Watson, a future Steeler. Ooh, that would be interesting. That would be very interesting. I don't see the Steelers doing that though. The Steelers have never been a team that have traded for premier players. Name me the last player the Steelers have traded for. You can't do it. Dave, if you can, man, let me know because I can't.
I also feel like the Steelers
they have too much pride in their homegrown talent.
Exactly, because they're such a storied franchise of homegrown Super Bowl winning teams.
Minka Fitzpatrick.
Hush.
Hey, he gave us our answer though, but
no, that's true.
That's not.
What?
Yeah, was that Was that mid-season? I do remember that trade now, but
I believe so.
Yeah, but
regardless, they're apparently Eli Manning is doing Frank's Red Hot commercials. Sorry,
who cares?
I digress.
Stop watching TV and answer the damn question. Get to the next one, actually, because we got to move on.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on. I know. All right. Give us your running backs.
Did you have any other quarterback questions, or are you done?
Just kidding.
I'm just wondering.
Bobby Air Bear finished QB2 this year. I mean, you're really not afraid of the regression that's potentially coming here, putting him at QB4?
Absolutely not. This guy only got better in year 2, and I think he's going to keep going. The only regression that I would be afraid of is losing Mike Williams. But I mean, this guy's talented. I mean, that's all there is to it. This guy's one of the young studs in the NFL, and he's got the the rushing ability to a degree that, can help his floor. And so the coaching staff around him is fantastic as well. So I love his floor and his ceiling. Like, honestly, like, I almost put him over Kyler. So
I mean, I don't hate that based on his trajectory up and Kyler's kind of fall from grace. Yes, there was some injury issues that played into it, but we may not know how much they played into it. But Arizona has been a completely different team since he went out and then came back, and he didn't even miss that much time. But it's just
love it, man. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you,
Matty
Daddy. But it's like, I mean, with Murray, you're getting the rushing, benefit as well, and that's why he has so much value.
Yeah.
But I mean, they lost Hopkins, and
he was not even close to the
off.
same. It's crazy how bad.
Yeah.
And, well, how not bad, but average he was with him. And again, that could change too, right? You bring in a
helps if I open the beer.
A phenomenal. Wow. You bring in a phenomenal. Did you?
What?
Did you see that comment I sent to you through Slack? The guy who left us a comment on I think it was iTunes.
I did.
And he was like it was a do as I say, not as I do. Yeah, perfect example. Don't try to drink the beer with the cap on, guys. Yeah. So anyway,
not gonna have a good time.
So yes, Mike Williams is a unrestricted free agent. So it'd be interesting to see if they keep him around. I mean, he's gonna require a large contract. I mean, he made $15 million this past year, but they might like Guyton and Palmer and those guys to fill in their role, or just bring in somebody cheaper or draft somebody. Outside of the first 4 weeks, Mike Williams didn't really do a whole lot again. So
other than
I don't think it really hurts Herbert losing Mike Williams. I really don't. I think some people do, but I don't. So
I don't think it's gonna hurt him as much. Yeah. I mean, he's got those next guys up, and I could definitely see them going out and drafting a receiver in one of the mid rounds just to start grooming and bringing up. So I'm not worried about that.
Yep.
I mean, I think that's good for quarterbacks. Let's get into the running backs, because there's a handful of questions I've got here.
Absolutely. So my number 12, again, the bottom half here, man. Again, it's a lot of guys I considered, but I went number 12, David Montgomery, number 11, Antonio Gibson, number 10, Javonte Williams, number 9, DeAndre Swift, number 8, Najee Harris, number 7, Joe Mixon, which I never would have thought I'd rank him that high, ever. Number 6, Alvin Kamara. Number 5, Christian McCaffrey. Number 4, Dalvin Cook. Number 3, Austin Eckler. Number 2, Derrick Henry. And then number 1, obviously, Jonathan Taylor. So what you got for me, man?
All right. I mean, clearly you have complete faith in Taylor as your RB1.
By the way, my overall number 1.
Exactly. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm just going to say it right now. He's my overall. Like, if I'm drafting today, number 1 pick, Jonathan Taylor. And I'm not alone. There's most people are that way. I
don't see you picking any of these other position number 1s over him. So, I mean, even though Henry finished RB16 in half-point PPR this year, he only played in 8 games.
I get it. Look, Jonathan Taylor just proved to be an animal, dude. Like, And the thing I really like about Jonathan Taylor, slightly above Henry, is that he's utilizing the passing game just a bit more.
It's like
Not much. Now look, Jonathan Taylor, ran for 1,800 yards, this year, and of course Henry ran for, an absurd amount of yards last year, 2,000 and 1,500 the year before. So like they're both like 1A, 1B, right? But at some point you do have to start throwing in the age factor here. And Derrick Henry is 28 now, coming off an injury. Jonathan Taylor is 23. That matters, guys. I'm sorry, it does.
it does.
Running backs,
It's not
start
the same
falling.
as quarterbacks.
I still think Derrick Henry will be a phenomenal player next year, which is why I put him number 2, and will be my overall number 2 pick next year, as things stands right now. But Jonathan Taylor, just time and time again, like would get bottled up, and then just boom, just like 20, 30, 70-yard run. Like, okay, dude, you are amazing. You are everything we saw at Wisconsin and more. And when he was getting drafted and that draft class was being put in, I was looking at him and ETN, right, and looking like, okay, the reason why I like ETN more is because ETN can catch passes way more than Jonathan Taylor. And that still might be true. It's yet to be seen, obviously, because we haven't seen ETN, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I put those two like 1A, 1A. Like, I didn't care who you liked more. Like, I liked ETN slightly more, but if you liked Jonathan Taylor more, fine. It didn't bother me one bit. They were that close because Taylor's rushing ability was that much better. But ETN was a more versatile player, in my opinion. Like, swing him out wide, put him a receiver, put him in the slot or whatever, and just swing him out, get him the ball, right? Get him the ball in space, and he will do some work. And I still think that's coming. I hope it's still coming. But, yeah. Either way, Jonathan Taylor is a special, special player, and I don't even think we've seen the best of him. If they can keep this offensive line.
I don't think we did.
If they can keep this offensive line, together at least 80%, I think he's still going to do good. Because even when they got hurt, like the offensive line in the middle of the season, when they got a little banged up, he was still producing at elite levels. So it almost didn't matter. So I think he's going to be good. But again, Henry is also going to be phenomenal still. He's only 28. He will be fine. In fact, he turned 28 8 days ago. So he'll be fine for a year or two, hopefully. But he has a lot of mileage on him, guys. Not going to lie. Look, in 8 games, by the way, 219 carries. We're talking about 300 carries in 15
he had
games.
almost 1,100 yards. You've got to go
total. Rushing yards 937. Yeah, no, he was incredible this year to start the year. He was not going to be stopped.
You have to go all the way back to 2015 to have a running back in half PPR that has the RB1 overall that has not scored 300 points in the season.
Yeah.
And that's
sometimes I get it. Sometimes like maybe you should just beat. I'll be telling you, like, sorry, I got caught because I tried to. I'm like pulling up the YouTube video and it come in the sound kind of screwed me up. But anyway, it's almost why I don't want the first, second, third, fourth pick. I almost like the middle pick or the last half of the pick because you almost don't want to chase those points. because it's almost never repeated. Like, how many times has it been repeated? Derrick Henry's done it twice. Christian McCaffrey's done it twice, but now we've seen Christian McCaffrey like die on a hill twice. So like, I get it. Like, you don't want it, but this is what you have to do. You see a guy, especially at the age of 23, be as good as
McCaffrey did it once.
No, he was
RB1. No,
but
2018 he was RB3.
But he was still phenomenal.
Oh, he was.
Year.
Yes, he was.
And he was like a freebie pick that year, which was crazy.
Yeah, he finished third, and it was Gurley, Barkley, him, and Kamara were the only players to score over 300 in half PPR in 2018. But that's 4 players that did it, and we haven't seen that, since then. The following year, he straight up dominated, scoring over 400 points.
Yeah.
And Aaron Jones was next at 290. So, I mean, that gap is amazingly large. And you didn't even see that with Henry. I mean, Henry finished 2 last year, or 2020, I'm sorry. And Kamara finished first in half PPR.
That's because that's 60-point, like, week 16.
Yeah.
That's enormous,
And
man.
he played 16 games to Kamara's 15. So,
yeah.
I mean, he was just ahead of Dalvin Cook, who played 14 games. So the two of them, if they were healthy all season, could have been, close to that 400. But
yeah, I agree, man. I agree. I think there's a lot of, there's
I
always the
think
what
Taylor,
ifs, but
I agree that Taylor's going to be the consensus number 1, and rightfully so. The age is there.
he earned it.
And he's earned it, yeah. So, but speaking of Cook, so you've got Cook, McCaffrey, and Kamara all down 4, 5, and 6. Obviously, we've dealt with some injuries from these guys. We've dealt with some, 2 years straight now of McCaffrey just not at all being what he was. And how much do you think the mileage has played into that? Because these guys are still pretty young.
With Cook, McCaffrey, and Kamara, I think the workload does knock them down just a tad, and I think it is more just look, this is multiple years now of injuries with these guys, and to where, Cook maybe is only missing a couple games a season. That matters, man.
That definitely matters.
That matters. And, it could come at the wrong time, which we have seen in other years from Cook, right? There was multiple years in a row where Cook missed the playoffs for you. Yeah. That was drastic. Obviously, we know McCaffrey has missed basically the entire season the last couple of years, which has been awful.
Yeah. And he was
but I still think back. Like, here's the thing with McCaffrey, and he is my dark horse. I don't even want to call him a dark horse at this point. Like, he is the guy who I think could be the overall number 1 player again. In the games he was actually healthy for, I took out the games he got hurt in. Mm-hmm. He averaged over 20 points a game in half PPR. If this guy could actually give you 14, 15 games, he would be a slam dunk number 1, number 2 pick. Like, but at this point, you can't count on that with him.
27.3 points in
half what?
PPR.
In the games he was healthy?
Yeah.
No.
3 games.
No. So
wait, no. Sorry,
no. I did the math earlier because I wrote an article, not an article.
That's 2021. That can't be right.
That's not right, because I did the math earlier for
anyway.
something I contributed to Fantasy Pros for, and it was like 20.5 points or something like that. Anyway, and then Kamara, like, the thing that gets me with Kamara is, like, I love the talent, but we all also know that, and look, we talked about this at nauseum this year, right? Man, when's this workload going to catch up to him? because it was insane for him this year. Like, he's been banged up in years past, and he was getting half the workload he was getting.
Yep.
He finally got banged. Like, it was like the week after they traded for Mark Ingram, he gets hurt, and then he's basically never the same. Also, we have no clue what this offense is going to look like going forward. They definitely are not going to have Drew Brees. Winston, who the hell knows? And even when Winston was there, like, it didn't matter. Taysom Hill isn't helping. It's not going to be the other Joker. Like, come on, man. Like, who knows what the offense is going to be? This is like this.
The other
like a
Joker? You mean Trevor Siemian?
Yeah, because I don't care about his
The
name.
Great White Hype.
Right. But again, like, it just comes down to with him, it's like the offense around him, and like I thought about putting Kamara down to almost like 9 or 10 because of those question marks. But because of, it could go the positive way right now, because I think Kamara is a better player than the guys below him, I put him ahead of him, thinking that team will figure it out. They will somehow bring in the right players around him to make him better. And if that happens, I could slide him even higher, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So the last two guys we got here, James Conner, RB5. Leonard
This year.
Fournette, RB7. Yes, both this year. I mean, how much confidence do you have in them somehow managing to repeat as top 10 running backs?
I don't. I mean, Connor is obviously, guys, just go look at the stats. He's all touchdowns. And he had a monster, middle of the year when Chase Edmonds was out. So that helped him tremendously. And he was being utilized the way that, he was utilized in Pittsburgh, pass catcher, everything. And look, if we knew that would have happened in Arizona, everybody would have drafted him as a top 10 running back. Yeah. But, you knew Chase Edmonds was there, so it wasn't going to happen. Leonard Fournette, look, I like this guy. I really do. I just have a tough time drafting him as a top 10 or 12 running back right now because he is getting a little bit older himself. And obviously, again, same thing I said about Brady. Like this offense is just getting older. It will be interesting to see what they do. Like, who they bring in. They obviously always, Brady will just be like, I want so-and-so. Go get me so-and-so. And they do. And he doesn't care who it affects on the team. He's just like, I want to win more championships. Go get me so-and-so. To bring him in, he doesn't care about stats. Tom Brady himself, I think, doesn't really care about winning, MVPs. But he brings in the players, make himself better, and so therefore he wins MVPs.
Yeah,
because quarterbacks win MVPs, guys. So that happens. So yeah, look, could Leonard Fournette jump into the top 10, 12? If he does what he did this year, and they don't draft a better running back than Rojo or whoever the hell they have on their team,
take a lot to do.
Yeah, but I do think they bring in somebody else because they obviously didn't trust anybody on this team. But Tom Brady teams in the past haven't relied on running backs like that, so they use them when they need them.
Exactly. He's not used to having this, huge
stud running
helpful component to his game. And honestly, that speaks volumes to his own stats and history. But at the same time, you look at the receivers he's had. You take away Julian Edelman and Wes Welker, and Randy Moss, honestly. But that was short term. What the hell? And Gronk maybe. You're looking at like Troy Brown, Ben Coates. Like if you want to go way back,
Yeah, not pretty.
And I don't even know if Coates and Brady played together, honestly, but it's just
No.
He's done what he's done because
I mean, New England had good running backs, but not.
They did. Corey Dillon was
the
best
Corey
running
Dillon
back
was
that they had
easily. But all right, man, you want to
James
move on
White.
over some receivers here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to give you my top 13 because I had a 12A, 12B, and it is T. Higgins and DK Metcalf. I couldn't knock DK out of my top 12, and honestly, it was hard to put T. Higgins into the top 12. So it was just kind of like, I'm just going to put them both in the top 12. So, number 11, Debo. Number 10, Deontay Johnson. Number 9, Calvin Ridley. Number 8, CeeDee Lamb. We're going to put number 7, A.J. Brown. Number 6, Stephon Diggs. Number 5, Tyreek Hill. Number 4, Jamar Chase. Number 3, Cooper Kupp. Number 2, Justin Jefferson. And I'm still leaving number 1, Devontae Adams. So give it to me, man.
All right. Let's start with the lower end of this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not even really lower end, but
Somebody I missed.
I mean, CeeDee Lamb. I mean, he finished wide receiver 18 with a healthy Dak this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you still have trust in him to put up numbers at wide receiver 8?
There's a lot of reasons not to put Lamb there. And I've seen all the metrics where he, like, target share wasn't high, catch rate or whatever it is wasn't high for him. My plus for him is that he is still a super young player. And, you know, they will likely be losing some players. And I mean, he's still only 22. He'll be 23 once the season starts, but like he's getting better, right? Like at age 21, he got 74 of 111 targets for 935 yards. This year, it was 79 of 120 targets for 1,102 yards and 6 touchdowns. I think the touchdowns can go up easily. I think we're going to see some of those. Underneath the Schultz go away, because teams will start targeting those as well. But yeah, I mean, I also think, we've talked about, Gallup being, gone, and I meant to look this up because I heard it somewhere and didn't actually research it. But yeah, Michael Gallup is an unrestricted free agent. And, we all know how I feel about Cooper. So, Amari Cooper is not my favorite player on the team. And we've seen his production decline.
What?
He's not an unrestricted free agent, but like, he's just, I wonder like what they're going to do with him at $20 million. Like, I feel like they can't get rid of him. His cap hit is just enormous. His cap hit is even higher than that. It's just enormous. So like they're stuck with him
and Wentz on an island somewhere and
fight it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I still like Lamb, honestly, man. Like I think this guy's just gonna get better, and as much as I was a little down on Dak as far as the QB rankings, that doesn't hurt the receivers. Like that doesn't correlate as much as you would think, right? We've seen really good receivers with really crappy quarterbacks. We've seen really good quarterbacks with meh receiving cores. It happens. So Lamb can do it without Dak being a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, based on who's gonna be there and not be there,
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate Lamb there. I would probably keep him in that low single digit to early double. So, I mean, I gotta just throw it out there. I mean, Devontae Adams, we have no GD idea
Right.
what's going to happen
So-
with Aaron this year. I mean, there's been talk of him
No idea
boycotting the Super Bowl if they
Oh
get
my
there.
god. That would
His
be the
hair
stupidest thing
right
ever.
now is long and flowing. His COVID toe is raging.
Oh no, he says he's
What are you
totally
doing?
gonna, he says he's gonna be 100% healthy next week, by the way.
That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. He doesn't even know what healthy is.
I don't
He
yeah.
lied about COVID.
I know. I get it, man.
He's-
I get it.
He's
I
he's
get it.
clouded. All right.
So yes, these are the two that, well, the entire team, honestly, like
I mean-
the entire team. The Packers will be the team to watch, right? I mean, look, Adams is a free agent too, so like we have no idea if he'll even
Yeah.
stick around.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
But
again, it's just
to
one of those
me,
like.
that is so.
I
hard
think
to
those
put
two
him at
go
number
together. And if they split off, they both drop like a rock, in my opinion. So you would hope that.
one. I don't know if I would agree that they drop like a rock. It depends on the situation, obviously, and Rodgers is not going to go to some shit ass situation.
Rodgers will go
just to prove a point.
Well, no, Rodgers will go to a
well,
good
maybe
team.
he would. But
I'm trying to think of what teams he could go to. It's
Denver?
I've heard Pittsburgh being thrown around. I've heard
Pittsburgh's got a
Denver
nice
being thrown
receiving
around. They got a
crew.
good receiving core
Denver
and good offense.
made a push for him already and didn't get it. And
But again,
look what
but then,
happened to
okay,
him.
so maybe Rodgers gets saved, but then what happens to Adams? Where does Adams go? Where he saves his career? Who needs receivers that desperately? Again, it's just one of those like we have to wait and see. But as of right now, I'm just kind of gut feeling, thinking they're both going to be Packers next year, and they'll figure it out. Look, if they win the Super Bowl, like, can you really leave? It seems weird, but I don't know. So anyway, you don't have to answer that.
Yeah.
These rankings that I put on the board right now were based off of them both being Packers next year. If they are not, Justin Jefferson is my wide receiver 1.
Okay. I mean, I still think after the year that Cup's put up, he's going to be the consensus one.
Nope.
I don't disagree much with Jefferson though, because he's
Cooper Kupp,
phenomenal.
in my opinion, is going to be kind of like the Stephon Diggs of this year, to where you will be chasing. So I would drop him a little bit. I probably wouldn't even draft him at the wide receiver 3, but I'm putting him there because I think he's that good. But the risk is there because he's never finished anywhere near that.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so
But he's also never had a Matthew Stafford. So
True.
I get that argument as well. Again, a lot more to be evaluated. This was like a 3-day exercise for me. I did it and was like, sure. Threw it out there. So again, a lot will change. Come hit me back up in August and we'll talk a little bit more about these.
yeah, we're gonna revisit this in August, and I'm gonna laugh. All right,
these
so
won't be anywhere close to the
last receiver I've got to talk about here is Mike Evans. I mean, he's finished wide receiver 8 this year. I mean, we already kind of talked about Godwin leaving and going to Dallas or wherever. I mean, do you think he's going to repeat this performance with Brady?
I don't, man. I mean, we keep saying it every year. I feel like with him, it's hard to predict him.
I mean, he's not even in your top 12. So
No, he's not.
if you've got T. Higgins over Mike Evans with potentially
I
Brady,
like the volume that Mike Evans or that Higgins gets over a Mike Evans. The problem with Mike Evans is that, I mean, you look at his game log, right? And look, we will probably talk about Mike Evans with a Mr. Bob Lung, Mr. Consistency.
That's right.
I mean, look, he's good, but half PPR rankings, right? I mean, we look at these point totals. We're looking at 3.9, then a 22, then a 14, then 11, 26. Cool. I mean, like, he had a good year, right? But look, he mixed in a bunch of 3s, 11s, 3s, 1.9, 12. Not terrible. 13. Not terrible. But, like, he mixes those in with these, like, enormous weeks of, like, 26 and 23s. They're all touchdown based. It is not yardage or reception based. We're talking 3. Look, well, let's look at one of his weeks, right? 6 for 8. 4 for 7, 47 yards and a touchdown. Pretty good week. 6 for 7, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns, 23.5 points. Like, I know he is a touchdown machine late the last 2 years, 13 and 14. But man, if he doesn't replicate that, and look, we saw that. Like, who did we just say that about this past year? It was a running back, by the way. Like, oh, well, he's done it 2-3 years in a row. He's got to be he's just got to be money in the bank for it. The yardage wasn't there and stuff like that, but, you know, he's money in the bank.
Was it Kamara?
No. Aaron Jones. And then look what happened. Once the touchdowns didn't hit, he was a nobody. Nobody wants him. Everyone wants A.J. Dillon instead. So yeah.
Age. But all right.
Well, here's a question, man. We got a question from Joey Ricotta.
All right.
If Brady wins again this year, does he retire? I feel like we haven't talked much about this year because he says he wants to play forever. But dude, your guess is as good as mine, man. If I were Brady, I probably would have retired a long ago. But again, I'm also not a robot, and I don't have a Terminator body underneath this skin. But no, in all seriousness, we have no idea. He says he wants to play forever, and as long as he's feeling good and playing at this level, I mean, he can. Why not? I'm not expecting him to retire this year. I'll be honest with you.
I don't think he will, even if he wins it again. Because at that point, he would own the record for most most Super Bowl championships. He's tied right now. Or does he already own it?
For most Super Bowls? He owns it.
He
Yeah,
does
yeah,
own it.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so he's already got that. There's still records out there that he can break and own. I mean, look, this guy is the ultimate competitor.
He is.
It sucks to have to talk nicely about him,
right?
Because he's such a turd when he loses. But I mean,
breaking tablets and stuff.
Yeah, breaking tablets, not shaking hands until after he's taken his sauna bath and whatever else and cooled down. I mean,
but yeah,
he's not retiring this year.
I don't think he's retiring.
If he wins it all again, because I think he's going to be like, oh, you know what? I did it again at 47.
And he's an MVP candidate. Like, he is literally one of the best. Granted, he has a phenomenal team around him, but his looks incredible.
Specifically, I mean, you don't see this. We talked about it before. You do not see teams literally being like, hey, we're all going to stick together because we just won a Super Bowl and we want to do it again. I mean, maybe in the olden days,
yeah, the 80s and the 90s. Yeah, you saw that crap because the salaries
exactly.
weren't what they are today.
Hashtag inflation.
So yeah. Anyway, let's rip through. Right. Are you done with receivers? Can I get the tight ends, which should be a short conversation?
The last point I wanted to make about Mike Evans was he had a 13.2 game. You were talking about him being touchdown dependent. He had a 13.2 game where he went 2 for 62 after the bye week on 3 targets against Washington in a losing effort.
Yeah.
13.2. And then he follows it up 3 weeks later with a 7 for 99 effort and no touchdowns. I mean, it's the consistency is absurd. I mean, those 2 games are consistent, but they're consistent.
Joey, that's what I'm drinking, buddy. You got it. I'm not drinking right now. I moved on, but it's just a Samuel Adams winter lager. But
all right,
nothing
let's
special.
Get to the split ends. I'm sorry, tight ends.
Nah, yeah, split ends.
All
right, so top 12. All right, so we'll start with Mike Gesicki. Zach Ertz, number 11. Number 10, Dawson Knox. Number 9, Dalton Schultz. Sorry. Number 8 is Dallas Goedert. Number 7 is Rob Gronkowski. Number 6 is T.J. Hawkinson. Number 5 is Kyle Pitts. Number 4 is George Kittle. Number 3 is still going to be Darren Waller for me. Number 2, Mark Andrews. And number 1, Travis Kelce. So, what do you got?
I mean, why you got so much shade on Dalton Schultz?
Again, it's more
3 finish.
No, I get it, man. He's had an amazing season, and it feels like to me he's a little bit of not as bad. What?
I don't know.
A little bit like crap. What's his name for Green Bay that got hurt this year or before the season? Tanyan. Like Tanyan, like he's a little touchdown heavy. Like good. I get it. Schultz is targeted way more than he was, so maybe I'm overstating that. But I just feel like Dallas. I don't know. Like there's something with me and Schultz. Like I just don't believe in the fact that like he's just had these like monster games where 20 and 11s and more 20s and 12s and 14s and 14s and I don't know. Like he's had some pretty amazing
a plethora of games at less than 2 points.
And look, here's the thing, right?
I mean,
right. So here's the thing too, right? So, and look, we all know George Kittle has his injury problems, and so, but I still believe in Kittle to be a better player. Ertz, right? When Philly had him this year was not good. When he moved to Arizona was way better. So you in a whole year with Arizona, you would probably put Ertz instead over Schultz, right? Which I didn't, but. I didn't, but that is a possibility as well.
That's what's
Gronk, right? You get these younger guys, right? You get Pitts, right? Which we all want to crap on Pitts for the bad year he had. He was a bust, right? The dude had 1,000 yards receiving. He only had 1 touchdown. You want to talk about regression? Talk about positive regression, guys. Yeah. That's going in the right direction. He may not have 1,000 yards again, but even if he has 807 touchdowns, he's making up for that. So, like, that's why I put him up there. And, Hawkinson's been hurt. Gronk, if he actually plays with Brady and maybe a much more limited receiving core there, like Gronk's going to be featured. And then Goddard, right? We've seen Goddard without, this is probably more to the point of with Ertz, right? Goddard without Ertz was even better. So it wasn't just like, I don't like Schultz. It was, I like a lot of other people better.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's all this to it. Like, there was just a lot of circumstances that happened to where Schultz kind of shot up the board this year to where, like, you've got to predict, 14 games for everybody, roughly, when you do these things. And if that were to happen for everybody, Schultz wouldn't be tight end 3. Period. Not even close.
I mean, Kittle missed weeks
half of the year
5 through 8, including a bye week on 6. He came back and was very good for 3 games.
He was bad.
And then he sucked against Minnesota. Then he was really freaking good And then he
Oh,
sucked at the end of the year. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
teams targeted him, but the offense will figure it out.
Where you drafted him as a top 3, maybe top 4.
Oh, you got killed this year.
And that's a stretch.
You got killed this year with him.
Easily a top 3 tight end pick. In the playoffs, he went. If you had him on the bye week, didn't help you because that was one of his best games of the season, and then he dropped off to like a decent game in week 15 against Atlanta, but then he puts up a 3.1 in the championship week.
Yeah,
I mean that's
disappointing how he finished.
That's I think I would almost rather have my where I would have drafted him. I would have rather had my running back be out like from week 10 on, because he's gone and you don't have to depend on him. Kittle came back and gave you that sense of hope, thinking, oh, all right, cool, especially at such a shit position, and then it just didn't happen. So
yeah. Well, I will say this: he might have gotten you to the playoffs in a few leagues.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyway,
all right. So we talked about Pitts here. I mean, do you still trust him enough to get enough volume to finish at this tight end 5 where you have him, assuming obviously that Calvin Ridley remains with the Falcons? And Matt Ryan continues on his downward spiral.
I do. Even if both of those things happen, I honestly don't think that either. Well, the Matt Ryan downward spiral would probably happen, but all the rumors say that Calvin Ridley is not coming back. The Falcons are done with him, so it doesn't even matter. But even if he did return, I think Pitts is going to be a star player. I mean, the guy, like there's a reason why everybody liked him this offseason. 6'6", 240 tight end. You can line him up even as a receiver and use him. And they did that a lot. 110 targets. Look, even when Ridley was there, 8, 6, 3, 9, 10, 8, 6 targets, right? Like, that's what we saw. Matt Ryan was probably a large reason why a lot of those receptions didn't turn, or targets didn't turn into receptions. And just strangely enough, he just didn't catch touchdowns. It was like the Julio Jones effect all over again, man. It was like, what in the hell is going on? Atlanta has a disease where like one of their guys just can't catch touchdowns. And this year it was Kyle Pitts. So we just have to hope it turns in the other direction. And you just got to believe in the talent sometimes and the targets, and just hope. Like, I could give me a few months. I could put Kyle Pitts tight end 3. Do I trust Darren Waller to come back from a year, even when he was healthy most of the year? I don't know. George Kittle, he's always injured, man. Like, always injured. I don't know.
Kittle, yeah.
Right? So like I could put him tight end 3 pretty easily.
Kittle possibly without
twist my arm, I could put him tight end 2 over Andrews. And I'll tell you why if you want to ask me.
Who? Kittle?
Mm-hmm. No, Pitts.
Oh.
I could put Pitts over Andrews.
Oh. Why?
Because Andrews has never, ever, ever had the target share he has had this year. And the reason why he had the target share he had this year is because A, Lamar gets hurt. Well, no, sorry, that's B.
I was like, that's
all of the running backs got hurt, so they had to pass 300 times more this year. And I'm just making that number up. It could be right, it could be wrong. I don't actually know, but they had to pass the ball 1,000,000 times more this year than they have ever had to, because they couldn't rely on the running game just carrying them forward. Lamar couldn't do it by himself. The running game was bad. And so
the entire running game was injured.
And then the receiving core wasn't good
through 8th string.
Yeah, the receiving core wasn't good. So
I mean, Hollywood had some good games
early on, it was phenomenal, but that was with Lamar, and then once he got hurt, it all went down
and he
to
was done.
yeah. So we got Joey still hanging out with us here, saying Ridley to Chicago, please. I see we got a Bears fan. I feel you, dude. You guys need more help than receiver, honestly, in my opinion. You need to hopefully keep, in my opinion, you need to keep Allen Robinson around. I like Mooney a lot. I like Kmet a lot. So I think your receiving core is solid if you can keep it. That coaching staff needs to figure some shit out. So
The coaching staff's gone, thankfully.
well, right,
So,
but the new coaching staff needs to figure some things out.
Yeah.
Get that offensive line in gear.
yeah.
I don't know. Something's got to get figured out. Allen Robinson is still a top talent in my opinion. You could tell nobody cared in that team anymore. But
No. Yeah.
all right, man.
Joe, I do have your answer for how many more times they passed this year.
Okay.
The Ravens last year passed 406 times, at least attempted passing. This year it was 611.
Boom. And why? Because they had no running game. I mean, come on, you're relying on
200 more.
Latavius Murray. And so come on, let's be real, guys. The passing attack in that offense will not be the same. It's just awful. So all right, man, let's rip through some of this. Last topic we got here. Sorry. Go ahead.
What was LaPlante? Do some research while we're talking about this last topic. What was Andrew's target share last year with the 400?
Oh, I can tell you that.
Versus
I can already tell you
this
I can tell you that in a
year with the
heartbeat.
600.
I can tell you that in a heartbeat. Hang on.
Not even
No, I can tell you that in a heartbeat. I got this for you. The target share. Targets. I can't tell you target share. Sorry, targets was 88 last year. This year was 154.
So he almost doubled
it. Like, come on, guys, this ain't happening again.
In 200,
almost
more.
doubled his yards. He only had 2 more touchdowns. I mean, like, it's just not gonna happen, guys. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I like the guy. I think he's a very talented receiver. But there was a reason why he was drafted after Pitts, after Hawkinson. It was because the target share isn't normally there in that offense. If the running game works,
but
he doesn't get it.
Still, I mean, he's still the most trusted receiver on that team.
Yes and no. With Lamar, is he though?
Yes,
because Lamar. Because Marquise Brown was getting a lot of targets.
Brown did get more targets.
Bateman is going to be a year older. He was looking really, really good, dude. But like, come on, man, let's be real. I mean, you're gonna get Dobbins, you're gonna get Gus Edwards and Tyson Williams back.
I mean, Williams
damn, dude.
Was like.
Well, yeah, but still,
he is a flash in the pan.
But still, Devonta Freeman and Latavius Murray won't be there next year. So you got to think about those 3, all very young, very good players.
Yeah,
and they will be very good. Look, I'm not knocking Mark Andrews. I'm not saying he's not a good player. I'm just saying the production you get from him this year, do not chase him as the tight end 1. He will not do what he did this year, hands down. So, all right, man, let's finish things out with a little bit of NFL playoff talk and some fantasy football strategy for NFL playoffs. And I guess the first thing I want to ask you is, who do we expect to advance? So we got the first round here, right? And let's just rip through. We don't have to give analysis here, man. Let's just make some fun picks. So, I'm trying to pull up the matchups here. NFL playoffs. Let's just do this. Week 1 here, man. Let's do it. So week 1, we got. I guess they're still calling it wild card, which is silly. All right, so let's go. Wild card. Yeah, right. Let's go through the AFC. So the first game of the weekend, the first game of the playoffs, Raiders and Bengals.
I'm going
Bengals.
This one's tough for me. I like the Bengals. It's at Cincy. Neither one of these teams has really even sniffed the playoffs for decades. So aside from maybe 1 year for Cincy, but I got to go Bengals.
Yep, 100% agree. This is a tough one, man. Saturday night, we got the Patriots against the Bills at Buffalo. I'm going Bills. Is close, and this is one of the ones where my strategy for my playoff league sort of went I don't know. Kind of picked 50-50s on this one for that reason, but who you got?
I mean, these teams beat each other at each other's homes this year.
Yeah, that game at Buffalo, though, was sort of...
It was wonk.
You can't count
it wasn't even wonky. It was just straight wonk because that's ridiculous.
Mac Jones threw the ball 2 times. So that doesn't count. So just make your pick. Let's move on.
I got to go Buffalo because of playoff experience at this point.
I agree. And then we got NFC. I'm just going to go in order of the games, actually.
Yeah,
so NFC game, Eagles and Bucks. Your Eagles, man. You going to bet them, guess them? Tom Brady, baby.
I'm going Birds.
No way. No way.
I'm going Birds.
All right. I'm going Bucks. Sorry. Ain't gonna
Defensive
happen.
line is going to play their best game of the season.
All right.
Tom Brady's not going to know what to do with it.
Okay. Hey, look. Crazier things have happened. The next one here, I actually have a tough time choosing 49ers at Dallas.
I like this matchup. It's
I'm gonna make you pick first.
Story.
It's like a 1995 matchup, right? If anybody is the Lotus ass, man. Like, remember those?
Fuck, man.
Aikman versus
Montana.
No.
Oh no, Steve Young.
Steve Young, man. They fucking hated each other, man. Like, it was every year they faced each other.
I'm going
They
Niners.
absolutely hated each other. I'm going Cowboys as much as I despise
Niners.
the Cowboys. I'm rooting for the Niners, but I just think the Cowboys are just that much better. Just slightly, man. This is going to be a close, hard-fought game. And another wild card game, probably the most lopsided one of the entire weekend, Steelers and Chiefs. Enough said?
Yeah.
Chiefs.
Sorry, Big Ben. It's been
a good ride, man. Peace.
Great ride.
he even goes, I think there was something like he had a press conference where he was like, yeah, I mean, we're not going to win, so we're just going to go have some fun. Like, it's more one of those, like, let's just, like, you know,
I mean, that could be trouble. I think it's going to be close.
It could be trouble where, like, they're just going to do some crazy ass, like, but yeah. Last game of the weekend, which is on Monday night, which I disagree with the NFL doing this at all.
Yeah,
like,
I don't
it puts that team that wins in a gigantic disadvantage for the next round. But it is the Cardinals and the Rams, a division matchup, which has been close all year long and for years in general. I'm picking the Rams. By the way, they get their safety. They get a safety who came off of retirement, Waddle. Did you see that?
Wait, what? Eric Weddle?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Weddle. Yeah, they brought back Weddle. Ridiculous. That shouldn't even be allowed, in my opinion. It's just dumb. Like, you can't bring people. No, it doesn't even matter. Like, he was retired, and they're like, oh, he's just like, oh wait, you guys are in the playoffs. You guys are Super Bowl contenders. Oh, can I play? Hey, pick me.
Guys, I'm not doing anything. I'm really tired of gardening.
Silly. Anyway, my pick is the Rams because I think they're just the more talented team, way better defense, and the offense. It's just got to be like whichever Matt Stafford shows up beats them, right? And the Cardinals have been very hit or miss the last like 6 weeks of the season. It feels like so.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're looking at division teams that have played each other and beat each other, on the road. both times.
Mhm.
So, I mean, they've been. I mean, they weren't even pretty close games. The second
No.
one at Arizona was a little.
It's just
closer.
the play recently that gets me with both
if
of
I'm
them.
going by recent play, I'm gonna go with the Cardinals.
All right. All
I'm
right. So
shocking.
here's where we
Shocking.
gotta remember who we picked, including you. So divisional round, right? So if we picked, so my picks are,
Let's write this in.
I'm picking the Bills to play, because the Bills are the 4th seed, right?
Oh God,
No, the Bengals are the 4th seed.
no, Bengals before.
The Bengals play the Titans. So who wins that game? We both picked the Bengals and Titans.
I'm going Titans.
I'm going Bengals. I think they're off. I just do not trust the Titans in the playoffs.
All right,
They have let us down multiple times.
I'm gonna go Bengals too. Actually,
All
I
right.
really like. The
So
Bengals
then
this
we
year.
get the Bills and the Chiefs. Who you got?
Oh, I mean, Bills made a statement against the Chiefs earlier this year, but I gotta go Chiefs.
Okay. Okay, and then we get. So
Where
we
are you
both picked the.
Are you going
Small-
Chiefs?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Sorry. So you picked the Eagles, which makes things really interesting. So I picked the Bucks, the Cowboys, and the Rams, which makes the matchups the
Bucks, Cowboys,
Bucks,
No.
Cowboys, Rams,
Packers.
Packers. So I'm picking the Packers, and then I'm going to pick the Bucks over the Cowboys.
Okay.
So you would be picking the Eagles against the Packers because they're the lowest seed.
Yep.
And then you're picking the Rams versus the Cowboys. So
No, I picked San Fran.
did you pick San Fran?
Yep.
Wait, is San Fran the lower seed?
No. It's
The
still
Eagles are
San
the
Fran,
7?
Rams.
Okay. All right. So
Eagles are 7.
Eagles, Packers.
Packers.
Okay. Then Niners, Rams.
I'm gonna go Niners.
Whoa. Jeff Lambert would be a big friend of yours. All right. So here we go. Here we go. Championship round. We're going. I've got Chiefs.
Cincy Chiefs. We both
I got
do.
Chiefs and Cincy. I'm going Chiefs. And I've got Packers, Bucks. I'm going Packers. You've got what?
Cincy.
Niners and Bucks?
I've got Niners.
No, Niners and
Packers.
Niners and Packers, and then you've got Chiefs,
Cincy Chiefs.
and Cincy. Okay, so same thing as me in the AFC. So who you got coming out?
Going Cincy, man.
Wow. Okay. What you got in the NFC then?
I gotta go Packers.
Yeah. All right. So then Super Bowl winner, I'm going to let you go first this time. You got Packers and Cincy, and I've got Packers Chiefs. I haven't picked my Super Bowl winner yet. I haven't even announced it on the website yet.
Man, I think it's gonna be a fucking hell of a game if it's Cincy Packers. I mean, or Chiefs Packers.
Right? It'd be amazing.
I'm riding the wave. I'm going Cincy.
I'm going Packers. I just think Rodgers is going to stick it to everybody right now.
Yeah.
And then he's going to be like, peace out. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. He's going to be like, peace out, Green Bay. You guys are going to miss me. Bye. But all right. So
Ideally,
let's take
that-
5 minutes here and talk about some. We went through all that. Take 5 minutes here. Do some NFL fantasy draft style. Like NFL playoff draft fantasy football strategy. And look, we've both played in some of these, and I've done at least one this year. My big thing with these, and what we're talking about here, is these like normal draft style where you're like 6, 7, 8 teams, right? You limit your roster sizes or the number of teams, and that kind of draft. I'm not talking like your salary cap leagues on ESPN that does it that way, or even Underdog, which if you sign up fantasy six pack, put the promo code in, please. They do their own style. But I'm talking like the style where it's like a normal league, right? You, me, and etc. have been in these leagues before. And so in those types of leagues, in my opinion, you need to kind of bet on one or two teams to kind of get there and kind of go heavy on those teams when you draft. You likely want their quarterbacks, right? You need the quarterbacks to go far. And the biggest thing, right, in those style leagues is it's a little bit different this year because there's only one team that has a bye. But you want the teams that play more games because they're going to earn you more points, because those leagues are more points, right? They're total points at the end of the game. They're best ball style, and then, just total points win. So to me, AJ, and disagree with me if you want to, but to me, like, if I have a first round pick, I'm taking, if I can, I'm taking a Mahomes. I'm taking an Aaron Rodgers. I'm taking a Tom Brady. I'm taking a, screw it, man. I might even take a Tannehill just because, like, actually, I don't like Tannehill. But I'm taking one of those three quarterbacks hands down if I can, because, like, I think those are the three, like, slam dunk quarterbacks to get to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. Like, but like, regardless of who you think are going to get there, those are the teams you need to target. You kind of need to go all in, right? Do you agree?
Yeah, you need to figure out who you realistically think will play more games in the playoffs, especially this year with only two teams having a bye, and that's Green Bay and the Titans. But I think the Titans potentially have a tougher road to get beyond that first game and even play in the second one.
Well, it doesn't even matter. Like, it just matters, like, you
just have to, like, this is the type of setup where I feel like depth is even more important.
There's going to be teams that, look, if none, here's the thing to think about, right? If none of the wild card teams make the Super Bowl, the teams that make the Super Bowl will play the exact same number of teams as the wild card teams, which like
it'll be an interesting.
And there will be one
sure.
team that will play more than all of them. Like I almost guarantee there will be teams that play 4 games, if not multiple teams that play 4 games. It's just this extra game is nuts. And so I just, like, you want to bet on the teams that go farther, and there's a little bit of, you also need to bet on, like, just like better players, right? Into where, we were talking before this draft with Mike LaPlante, because he was actually doing, our producer Mike LaPlante, he is maybe still in the process of doing his draft for this style.
It's over.
Yeah, but look, Derrick Henry is one of those guys where, like, look, if Derrick Henry, he's on that bye week team, right, with the Titans, but if he can give you 2 games of 30-point production, that could be better than 4 games from Devin Singletary of 4 games, right? Like, look, Devin Singletary's been good down the stretch, but that's that balance, right? Where you have to, like, figure out, like, games played versus this. And so, like, I've done the best I can possibly do on the site, fantasysixpack.net. Go check out my rankings. I do the best I can, guys. Like, this is the way I would draft it, and it's the way I did draft it. And you can check out my tweet where I drafted with a couple guys who obviously didn't agree with me. And I think I personally cleaned the hell up, and I'm going to dominate all these mofos. But I thought that 2 years ago and got absolutely rammed by AJ, who drafted Nick Foles, and however long ago it was, and where the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and it was just kind of like, excuse me, he drafted Big Dick Nick in the last round. It was like, click. I was like, who was this guy? Nobody wants them. Nobody wants the Eagles. And yeah, we all lost because of that. Because Mr. Eagle over there took all of them. So yeah, weirder things will happen. But again, it's fun. We're all here to have fun with it. But again, it will happen again. It will happen again, guys. I promise you.
Look at Tennessee last year. Tennessee was a 6th seed last year.
Green Bay last year was the number 1 seed anomaly, and got crushed.
But
they were the team
that's
to
what
have.
Green Bay does, though. Usually,
yeah,
sorry, Mike.
They just feel
that's
different.
What they've done a lot. They've had that bye, and they just don't know what to do with it.
They don't win at home for some weird reason.
Yeah.
So,
but no, I agree. I think I would be very heavy Chiefs, very heavy Packers.
Tampa's, Titans, Bill, like
Bucks is
it kind of breaks down.
It's hard for me because I really want the Eagles to win, but
realistically,
I'm
though,
also
come on, bro.
Completely stupid.
If you had to put 500 down on the Eagles, would you?
Depends on whose 500 it is.
Yours.
No.
That's a no. That's a no, fellas.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, again, that said, it is a balance of like who you actually favor to win the games, and a matter of who you think is going to produce in said games, right? So I've seen crazy things happen where a guy only plays 1 or 2 games instead of 3 or 4, but because he has good matchups or just has these ginormous games.
His first 2 games are ridiculous,
right? I think
puts you in a great position.
The first year I won, I had the New England running back James White. I had James White that year, and nobody wanted him. And at the very last pick, I went James White, and he destroyed it in the playoffs. Granted, they won the Super Bowl, but he still would have won me the league. I think I won the league before the Super Bowl started because of James White. Yeah. So that kind of crazy things can happen. So that's what you've got to figure out. You can use my rankings if you want to agree with me, but if you don't think the Packers and the Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Bucks are going to go far and et cetera, then you need to redo my rankings based off of who you think will go far. Yeah. So that's what I think. But you do guys. It's ultimately it's your league. It's also supposed to just be fun, like I said before. So
yeah, the same thing really goes for this on. It's fantasy-esque, but like a pick 'em. If you're trying to pick teams that you think are going to go to the Super Bowl, I've been in a couple of these leagues.
There's like Survivor leagues and stuff like that too.
Yeah, like this. If this team wins, I want 12 points or, however many. I guess it'd be 14 this year. But, even the bye week team, if you think they're going to go the farthest, you want to put them at the best possible point total to get into it. So it's a broader spectrum of this, but I mean, that's what you got to do. You got to go with your gut. And
we all have our opinions, and so do me and AJ. But you have to have yours in these NFL playoff leagues, and you got to roll with it. You got to be comfortable
always
with
just
what you
do
pick.
what we do. Do what you want to do.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you for chiming in, and we will have more content the rest of the month. But that's all we got for the night. So we
shout
will.
Out. I'm gonna say this now. Before we're over here, it's not an IPA.
That's a good one, man. Oh yeah,
Southern Tier.
I had a winter ale.
Dos Xmas.
I had a winter ale.
Spiced
There we go.
Double ale.
That's my second one.
Orange peels, ginger root, cardamom, cinnamon, fig paste, and cloves.
All right.
I'll tell you what. I tasted all of that.
I almost tried to get that one, man. I just didn't do it. But
it's good, man. Really good.
Probably can't find it now, unfortunately. So
Well, I can save you one. Maybe.
Figure it out.
I don't know.
all right, guys. Good night, and thanks for listening and watching. Peace.